On this episode of Failproof Kitchen, we are making the Cavatelli pasta that I've made on both Netflix pressure cooker and Beat Bobby Flay. We're gonna use the well method, which I'm sure if you've watched any sort of food TV or anything like that, you've seen this method of mixing pasta done. Cut a piece off and roll it.
Wow, I have a feeling this is harder than it looks.
It is harder than it looks, but it's not impossible.
What's happening?
So you want me to show you the easier way?
Oh, Robbie, are you kidding? I can do that. Hang on. He's just showing out. I'm done. I'm retired. I'm taking off my apron. Hey y'all, my name is Jenna Fail.
And I'm Chef Robbie Jester, winner of Netflix pressure cooker, Beat Bobby Flay, and Guys Grocery Games. So there's several different types of pasta that you can make homemade. This one we're making because it doesn't require a pasta machine, it doesn't require an extruder or any roller or anything like that. Cavatelli pasta is one of the simplest to shape, but this is what we would call a macaroni pasta dough. So it's not an egg-based pasta dough like most of the pasta you see made. This is macaroni dough, which is gonna be the flour, water, and a couple other ingredients. So right now we have two different types of flour. So we have semolina, which is made from durum wheat. It's gonna add texture and a little bit of flavor. We're just gonna put a little mound of that on the table. And then we have double O flour. So double O flour is used for pasta, pizza, and things like that. And it's just milled a little bit finer than a lot of flours out there, so it makes for a nice smooth pasta dough. So we're gonna go basically even part double O and semolina. We're gonna just take the fork and mix that together. And this is super rustic. We're gonna use the well method, which I'm sure if you've watched any sort of food TV or anything like that, you've seen this method of mixing pasta done. And all that means is we're gonna create a little well in the center once we get all of our semolina and stuff mixed together. So we're gonna create a well right here in the middle, make it nice and neat. And then we're gonna start to incorporate our wet ingredients in the center. Now, this is a trick that I use on TV to be able to shape pasta faster. It's something I learned from one of my line cooks a few years ago, which is if you put a little bit of softened butter in here, it's going to give you the ability to shape this pasta much faster, and it's also gonna make this pasta dough more forgiving. So if you were making ravioli, for instance, or something like that, it gives you a little more stretch without breaking. So we're gonna go in with a little bit of water.
So the trick is you're just adding that. You're not replacing anything with it.
Correct. And we're gonna go in with a pinch of salt because I like to put a little salt in the dough. Also salt in your pasta water. Always salt your pasta water, but I like to put a little bit in the dough as well. So we're just gonna kind of mash up the butter here.
Does the temperature of the water matter?
You want it to be like a little bit less than cold or room temperature. If you're not going to use it right away, super cold is kind of fine. If you want to use it soon, which we want to use it soon, you want to go with a warmer water than the other method.
So with that flour, is it self-rising, all-purpose? Does that matter?
So it's just these particular varieties of flour. So like self-rising flour is flour that has like baking powder, baking soda added to it. This, in this case, the double O flour is like all-purpose flour. It's just ground differently. And then the semolina is made from a different type of wheat. So we're just kind of working in the edges here. And this is how you can kind of make this without a recipe per se. You can kind of just get a well of flour onto the counter and then start working it in there. And then I'm gonna just take my fork off and I'm gonna start to just kind of fold some of this flour on top of that. Now I'm folding flour in and then pressing as a part of like the early kneading process because that's gonna protect my hand so it doesn't stick to me too bad, but it's also gonna let me see exactly how much flour I have in there. You see I have a dough kind of coming together. It is, I can feel it when I press down, it's a little wet. So just sprinkle a little bit more on till we get to a texture that I'm happy with, and then we're gonna just really go in and knead it. But we wanna get a little bit of a ball going. So now you can also see it's sticking to the counter a little bit, so I know that I need a little bit more there. We want it to be tacky but not sticky, moist but not wet. So we can take some of this and sprinkle. So now I'm gonna show you how to knead. So basically you're gonna take the far portion, fold it, and press it in. And then you're gonna rotate it. You're gonna do the same thing, okay? You're gonna keep doing that. If it gets a little bit too sticky, you just grab a little bit more. And we're basically doing that until when we press into it, it bounces back.
Okay.
All right, now it's your shot. Yep.
Do you ever use two hands?
I don't need to. I got big palms, but if you need to,
I kind of got
go
small
for it.
hands, so.
And this is one of those things that you learn by feel. A lot of
Yeah.
people will ask like how many times or how long. You really just keep going till, like I said, it feels like a nice smooth ball. And when we press into it, it has a lot of bounce back. That lets us know that the gluten has developed. I know gluten's like a dirty word, but we're making pasta. So the gluten has developed, which means when we go to cook our pasta, it's gonna stay together. It's gonna have a nice mouthfeel and nice texture.
Could you over knead this like cookie dough? Sometimes they say like don't.
So you could over knead this, but all you would do then is just rest it longer.
Okay.
So you can make this a day ahead of time. You can make this a few hours ahead of time if you're making pasta, because we're going to wrap it up and we're gonna rest it. So it is something that you could make in advance. However, with the butter in there, it's made so that we can shape it fairly soon. So I can see now that we're getting to the point where it's bouncing back. So we press into it and it bounces back. It's not gonna come all the way back, but it'll come almost all the way there. We're gonna form this into a nice solid ball, and then we're gonna wrap it in our plastic film loosely, because it will start to hydrate a little bit more while it's in the fridge, and we don't wanna go too tight, because if we go too tight, it might all stick. We don't wanna add extra flour here because it's gonna mess up our texture later, but we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put this in the fridge, we're gonna let it rest for 20, 30 minutes, we're gonna pull it out, we're gonna roll our cavatelli. We just pulled our pasta out of the refrigerator. It's rested for about a half hour. We're gonna start to make our cavatelli. So we're gonna start by cutting this down into some slices, and then each one of these slices we're gonna cut into cylinder-ish shapes, and then we're gonna roll these out. So this is kind of fun, and this is actually one of those things that, like, if you get comfortable making it, you could do this with your kids. Like if you have kids, it'd be a fun thing. So we're gonna start by just rolling, and we wanna get it about a little bit thicker than a pencil, so like the thickness of like a Sharpie marker. And that's what we're going for. So here, you wanna do that while I
bet I can roll faster than you are.
I don't think so.
You're cheating.
I did make this on TV where I beat a guy. The show's named after him. All right, so we have our little tubes here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put them together. We're gonna get a little flour on top of them, roll them around so they don't stick to each other. And we're gonna start to make our cavatelli. So there's a couple different ways you can make this. You can take this, use the end, cut a piece off, and roll it.
Wow.
And you get a little hot dog bun shaped pasta. It's actually easier for me if I do it closer to the edge. So you roll it, and we're pressing, but not too hard, because we want that pasta to still roll underneath the knife.
I have a feeling this is harder than it looks.
It is harder than it looks, but it's not impossible. Just so you know, I do this with middle school students. They're pretty good at it. All right, you can do that one. See, you're pushing a little, you're a little aggressive.
What?
A little aggressive.
All right, I feel like my angle's off. That's what the problem is.
Yeah, cut through it.
What's happening? Let me go back to this end.
So you want me to show you the easier way?
That wasn't the easy way?
The cheater way?
Yeah.
Take it between these two fingers.
Oh, Robbie, are you kidding? I can do that. Hang on. I didn't do it again.
Hold it like this.
Hang on.
Thumb on the bottom.
Let me make it, okay.
Thumb on the bottom, two fingers on top, okay? Put it down. Roll your top two fingers over. There you go.
Okay, I can do that. Robbie, what the heck is going on with, what are you? You're just showing out. I'm done. I'm retired. I'm taking off my apron. So these look like little gnocchis.
Yes, they're a little thinner, and that little pocket in the center is perfect for holding sauce in. It's a little vessel for the sauce. See, I even messed that one up.
Don't even start like you can relate to me.
And there you have it. We have fresh Cavatelli pasta. You can use this for whatever kind of pasta you want. It makes the most sense with any sort of pasta that has sauce, so you don't want to do this with something that's like just vegetables and things, but anything that has sauce, because that little crevice in the center really is a nice little vehicle for your sauce to soak in and be delicious. But you can be creative. You can do tomato cream sauce or anything, any kind of sauce you would like.
Okay, but let me just say, I wouldn't do this because of that experience. Could I cut it into little strips?
You sure could. You
Okay.
can cut it into little pieces, and you don't even have to roll it.
Okay.
You can just do the little pieces. It's gonna come out like little dumplings. Little dumplings, chicken, a little bit of cream. You got like your own kind of like Italiano chicken
I didn't even
and
think about that.
dumplings.
That's a perfect little dumpling.
Yep.
Okay, well look at that. Check us out.
So, like, subscribe, and
Don't forget to ring that bell for post notifications so you can keep up with the new episodes of Failproof Kitchen. See you guys next time. See, this was a good one. I for sure did that one. I'm sure of it.
so now I'm gonna tell you something really gonna make you mad. I've never done it with a knife before.
Next time on Failproof Kitchen. Today we're gonna be in the kitchen cooking up some homemade meatballs.
And we're gonna have the sauce to go with it. Got some nice sized balls there.
I'm trying.
So once Jenna is done rolling our balls,
That's what she said.
I like this. You're doing the dirty work for this one.
Y'all, I wanted to wear gloves, but sometimes you just gotta get in with your hands.
I am a fan of a quick sauce, and really in any restaurant where I serve Italian food that has red sauce, this is exactly the sauce that I make.